Hello, my friends. It's Darth Paradigm. Now, here's a question. Should Ultrasabers offer weathering? Well, yeah, why not? I mean, that would be a very appreciated option. Now, this is sort of a topic that I've been discussing off and on with the Arctic Jedi, a friend of mine, fellow YouTuber, fellow saber enthusiast, and he's convinced that it's something that Ultra Sabers could do fairly simply. I'm holding to the basic reality. I don't believe that they could really pull it off now, and that's for a number of reasons. One, obviously, there's a lot of drama going on with Ultra Sabers, as we all know, and they're not really ingratiating themselves with the saber community. They're almost seemingly going out of their way to create far too much drama uh, to be well as successful as they are. But this video really isn't about that. Now I have four examples of sabers here that have been customized, and I'd have to basically say that weathering of this nature is a bit on the time consuming side because it's all done by hand. Now, the first saber is a Dominic's V5 stunt saber, and I recently just weathered this myself. And it only took me a couple hours to do this, but it was a lot of work. And I love this saber now. I've named it the Scorch, or just Scorch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some leather. Oh, yeah, I cut myself installing an air conditioner today. uh, so I won't give you the finger. I'm going to put some, a little bit of leather wrapping. I'm going to kind of braid it and have it hang off at this choke point because you don't really use this choke point because of the claws. And I've rounded off the claws, and so they're no longer an issue. But this was a lot of fun. And it's something that I really wouldn't do to a hilt from most other companies. Just an Ultra Sabers hilt. And this was kind of a saber that I felt very, very ambivalent about until I did this. And now it's given this hilt a lot of personality, so much so that I named it. And in my head, I have kind of a backstory, and I just I didn't know I had it in me, so I'll just leave it at that. So, the one of the things that Ultra Sabers offers is infinite customization capability and the willingness to I mean, you purchase a grab bag saber or a mystery box saber, and you can accumulate these things, and then can just kind of customize them at will. They're not very expensive hilts. They're very basic. They're very bland. And once you customize it, you've created a saber with a lot of personality. Take for instance, Terminus here, and this was produced by Blue Force Sabers. Again, another saber that since I acquired I have a hard time putting it down because it has a lot of personality. The original basic version of this hilt, based on the Ultra Sabers Overlord, is it's a beautiful hilt, but it's really simple. It's really basic, and there's not much going on. But then, you get in there with a Dremel, you add some wear, you sand it, you paint it, you add some layers of paint, some details, clear coat it, install some very, very capable software, put a chassis in here, secure the LED, a decent battery system with a lithium ion 18650 battery. And before you know it, you have a wonderful, work of art. And what did it originate from? Well, it originated from a hilt that probably only cost about, $150 from Ultrasabers. And to be perfectly honest, you can replace that if you were so inclined. If you wanted a pristine original Overlord, it's easy enough to procure, but I don't need to because I have this, and it's a wonderful work of art. Amongst all four of these sabers, this is the only one that actually has sound. It has a Verso board installed. You've seen my reviews and whatnot. Then you start moving on to I've got my Initiate V3 here, my Dark Initiate V3, and I purchased this one from someone off of eBay who kind of does his own customizations, and so this is another light sanding job with a leather wrap, and probably clear coated it or something to that effect. I haven't named this saber, but you've created another interesting piece from the Initiate, the V3 style hilt is one of the more comfortable hilts that you can hope to acquire. Now, currently, Ultrasabers is sold out of them, but yeah. And lastly, I've got a Dominic's V4 by the same seller. That's been heavily sanded. It almost looks as though it was lathed, and he just got in there with maybe a sander, and it's a very, very fine touch. When I weathered mine, I kind of tried to make it look scratched up, and I tried to make the weathering as natural as possible. This almost looks as though it was specifically weathered to create kind of a very, very even aesthetic appearance. It's a wonderful job. I do like how this came out, but it's a very even weathering. It kind of reminds me a lot of the weathering that Saberforge does on some of their hilts. This one tends to be a little bit more natural looking its weathering. Don't get me wrong, I still think this is beautiful. This is a wonderful hilt. Again, it's very comfortable and aesthetically pleasing, but this tends to be a little bit more natural, as does this, and as does this. I'm extremely proud of that. So anyway, so you've seen 4 different examples of weathering. Now, can Ultrasabers pull this off? Well, I don't know. They're having difficulty just doing the basics. And their business model, and this is just my opinion, their business model is really predicated a lot on speed and quantity. A lot of these hilts, the lower end hilts are essentially they're just an aluminum tube with kind of a very, very simple design elements to it, and they just kind of slide very basic electronics in, wire it up, and you're good to go. It's meant to be kind of churned out en masse. Not to be mistaken with, I do appreciate Ultrasabers. They're one of my favorite companies. I do like their hilts. I do like the products. I've accepted them for their flaws. I'm not a hater, but I'm a well-rounded collector. I tend to collect a little bit of everything, and I like Ultrasabers because in a pinch you can get a hilt from them, and it's not always inexpensive, but I usually get something that I enjoy from them. But going back to the question of the weathering, could they pull it off? At this juncture, with the way they're currently running their business, I would have to say probably not. They would have to restructure themselves considerably because this weathering takes time. Now, I can attest to how long it took to produce this one, but these other three, I don't know. I didn't do those. This took me a couple hours. Now, if Ultrasabers had to commit one employee to weathering such as this by hand, how much would that cost? Would people be willing to pay for it? Would they like the results? I don't know. It's very subjective. When you're dealing with an individual, I'm going to be sending in a Manticore to Blue Force Sabers. I'm going to be talking to him directly, and I'm going to be telling him what I want, and he's going to be making suggestions. We're going to work as a team. We're going to develop. We have a pretty decent working relationship already, and I know more or less what I'm going to get. Custom diversions is the same thing. I've worked with them several times, and it's a process. Is that the level of service that you're going to get from Ultrasabers? No, probably not. How much would that cost? No, chances are they're going to, if anything, introduce a streamlined process and produce something similar to what Saberforge does, sort of a standard approach to weathering, and that's fine if you're into that. I mean, I have a Scion coming from Electrum Sabercrafts. They're going to weather that. But I know that they do that by hand. I've seen the results. It's very similar to what you're seeing here. It's very personal. There's no two sabers that are going to be the same. I mean, with any weathered saber, there's not really going to be two that are exactly the same, but there is definitely a degree of homogeneity in what they do. But with something like this, I'm not sure. I'm not seeing it. I'm not sure that Ultrasabers could pull it off with any degree of satisfaction. It'd be expensive, time consuming. It would set them back considerably. I mean, there's so much volume that they do that if you add that extra element, they'd probably have to hire people specifically just to do the weathering. And I just don't see it happening. Would it be a good service for them to offer? Yeah, definitely. I think it'd be an exemplary service for them to offer. But they've got a lot of growing to do. They got a lot of problems that they have to reconcile before they can go that route. So anyway, I invite the discussion, regarding weathering, and if you think that Ultrasabers could pull it off, and what would be the sort of what would be the process? How much do you think it would cost? Would it be worth it? I open up to opinions. Anyway, so I'd be remiss if I didn't actually turn these sabers on. So let's turn on Scorch. I put a 32-inch custom saber shop show blade into Scorch because it needed some love. And
you were unbalanced.
Terminus actually has an Ultrasabers Ultra Edge mid-grade blade. Again, 32 inches, which really, really works well in this saber with these LEDs. Yeah. Nice, even illumination, just exemplary. And Scorch just has the regular. I haven't actually looked. I think it's the standard blazing red, but it works really well on this saber. Actually, the LED on this Dominic's V5 was super brighter than any of my other Ultrasabers LEDs with the red, and I don't know why. And my Initiate has Violet Amethyst, and I have a 32-inch Ultra Edge mid-grade on this one. And my Dominic's V4 is Arctic Blue, same type of blade. I'm an oddball. I love stunt sabers. So you get the slow progression of Sith to Jedi. Just love the colors. Check out these windows. Yeah, so going back a bit in the vein of customization, I think that Ultrasabers provides a kind of a very, very important service to the saber community. I mean, providing hilts like this that allow people like myself to cut their teeth and customize the saber for the first time ever. Take a chance, and I mean, you're not going to do that really with a Vader's Vault. I think if you're going to spend anywhere between $500 and $2,000 on a Vader's Vault, you're going to send it to a professional to have them do this type of work. But with a a $60 hilt like this, yeah, you're going to go nuts. I mean, you're just gonna try some things that you wouldn't normally try on a higher end saber. And so, I mean, in the end, on a positive note, that's a service that Ultra Sabers does provide. I mean, you can get a hilt from them, and if you're so inclined, you can do this, or you can have someone do it for you. But for the most part, I'm learning that it's a fun process to do for yourself. Very gratifying. I've been very very happy. Like I said, with the results here. I know I'm rambling a bit, and kind of proud of myself. Next up is I'm going to use some of the Arctic Jedi's suggested painting and weathering techniques, and I have a few hilts that I'm going to be experimenting with soon. Probably this weekend if I can get some supplies. At any rate, so like I said, I opened up the forum. I kind of said a lot. It was a little bit meandering and rambling, so I apologize for that. I knew this video would do that, and thank you for staying here for the whole thing. If you did, I invite comments. This is a discussion, and I'd like to hear your opinions on what I talked about. And thanks everyone for subscribing. A lot of people have been subscribing to my channel, and I really do appreciate that. I'm kind of flabbergasted that so many people are really into my content. I mean, it's just a guy in an apartment, kind of reviewing and unboxing things, and it's just wonderful to have so many people in the community interested in my content. And I love each and every one of you, and I hope you're staying safe, happy, healthy. We're gonna do well. We're gonna get through this. Everything's gonna be all right. And that pretty much ends this video. So please comment, like, or dislike, and share if you're so inclined. And we'll have a nice little discussion about the possibility of someday Ultra Sabers deciding to go with weathering, or if you think that's completely implausible or a possible fiasco, let me know. If you think it's going to be, it could be a wonderful thing for them to try. Not that they're going to, but yeah, let me know. We'll talk about it. All right, guys, you have yourself a good one. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.